Welcome to Wisconsinology, a collaboration with 91.1 The Avenue and Wisconsinology.com. Today's story, The Ballad of Billy Frechette. Of all the legendary gangsters of the great gangster era of the 1930s, no one had more star power than John Dillinger. Dillinger had many Wisconsin connections. His lawyer was the flamboyant attorney, Louis Piquette. You know him as the lead character in the musical Chicago. Dillinger's greatest connection to Wisconsin was the love of his short life. She was Mary Evelyn Frechette, nicknamed Billy. Billy Frechette was born in Neopit on the Menominee Reservation in 1907. She was part Menominee and part French. She was educated at a Catholic mission school in Neopit, and later in Flandreau, South Dakota, she attended a government school for Indian children. A short stay in Milwaukee followed, but Billy had her eyes set on Chicago. For her, the Windy City's nightlife was the only known antidote for working hard and barely getting by. She said, "Chicago was a big and wonderful place to me. I liked to be around people who were laughing and cutting up." But life kept throwing curveballs. At the notorious Brooke Institution for Unwed Mothers, Billy gave birth to a child. She named him William. William died 3 months later. A short marriage to a small-time crook followed. His name was Welton Spark. Said Billy, "I wasn't in love with him, but I was lonely." All the while, Billy worked a number of jobs. She cleaned house, waitressed, and worked as a nurse. In 1933, she was out dancing with friends at a North Side cabaret when she met John Dillinger. Dillinger was at the height of his fame as America's favorite bank robber. It seemed no jail could hold him. His lawyer, Louis Piquette, repeatedly made mincemeat of government lawyers. Back at the cabaret, John Dillinger and Billy Frechette locked eyes. They danced, and that was that. For the next 6 months, they were inseparable and on the run, moving from apartment to hotel room to apartment. In spite of this, and maybe for the first time since early childhood, Billy felt safe. She said, "John looked after me and bought me all kinds of jewelry. We went places, we saw things. He gave me everything a girl wants. I always figured that what he did was one thing, what he was another. I was in love with what he was." At the height of their bliss, the law figured out that the best way to get John Dillinger was to get Billy Frechette. She was arrested and jailed on charges of harboring a criminal. John Dillinger hired Louis Piquette to get Billy out of jail, but the fact was the feds were going to keep her. With Billy gone, John Dillinger's lucky streak came to an end. He was shot dead by FBI agents and local cops outside a Chicago movie theater in 1934. Billy Frechette was discharged from prison in 1936. She wrote a pamphlet about her life, which she sold for 25 cents, and she performed in theaters nationwide in a stage show called Crime Doesn't Pay. Many former outlaws did these shows. They would tell their stories, answer questions, sign autographs, renounce their wicked past, and speak of the joys of conformity. The public ate these shows up. In time, Billy settled down in Shawano, and in her mid-50s, she married a former game warden named Art Tick. Billy Frechette died in 1969. 3 years after her death, the movie Dillinger came out. It was a major hit. Billy Frechette was back. She would be portrayed by actresses Michelle Phillips, Sherilyn Fenn, and most recently Marianne Cotillard in the 2008 movie Public Enemies. She lives on in every form of media, from movies to games to books to podcasts. Her final husband, Art Tick, gets the last word, and I quote, "She was a damned good woman." It is fair to say that for a brief moment in very hard times, Mary Evelyn Frechette lived big as it gets. For 91.1 The Avenue, this is Frank Anderson.
Wisconsinology on 91.1 The Avenue is presented by a grant from the Bright Idea Fund from the Community Foundation for the Fox Valley region. Additional support comes from Island Music in Neenah and New London. Learn more at myislandmusic.com, both supporting partners of The Avenue.